Alright guys, what's up? So I got a co-host this week. Got my friend Trevor Doyle with me. He does a lot of iRacing stuff with me. Um, and instead of talking to myself for 45 minutes, I figured I'd try having somebody else on. So this is Trevor Doyle. He runs in our iRacing league. One of the most things that he's known for is this right here. Trevor, this is that surprise I
Oh
was telling you
God.
about. Okay, now you can't hear it obviously, but the viewers should be able to hear it.
That clinker's got.
So I'm in the 31. Trevor's in the
Oh,
24.
he changed it up a little bit.
That he did. He waited.
Then allow him
Whoa! Big slide job out of the 24, cutting across the screen.
up with the lead.
So that's
Wow!
that's Trevor. Uh,
That's me.
yep. So that was fun, but shitty for me, obviously. But now me and Trevor are close. We've known each other for quite a while now. Race a lot on iRacing and stuff. But so I brought him in to talk about this past weekend at Skyline. So we had a doubleheader weekend. We had a Friday night race and a Saturday night race. I took Camber with me and we camped out. So did most of the other drivers. It was really cool, really special. We bought a tent on the way there. I had two of them in the basement, but I didn't want to like risk not having all the fucking pieces to them. So I bought a new one on the way to the track, which Camber got a kick out of that. She had a lot of fun sleeping in a tent at night. But we went up top. There was a bunch of RVs and shit up top. A bunch of the IMCA officials, the IMCA announcer and his wife. There's a bunch of people up top in the RV section that like made food, made dinner and all that shit. So we all went up top there for that. Same thing in the morning. Saturday morning, we all went up top and we had a big ass breakfast. It was really cool. So, um, Friday night, I didn't have any videos from the outside of the car, but I took my GoPro video. So we'll watch that first. That was from the feature. I kept forgetting all weekend. I think that's the only time that I had it on was for the feature on Friday night because I never remember to turn the fucking thing on. So we'll watch that first. The track it had a lot of bite in it, but it was really dusty, and it was more than dusty. It was almost like driving 50 miles an hour 50 miles an hour underneath a bucket loader dumping dirt on it. It was like at certain points of track, like on restarts coming off of 4, it was like driving through a wall of dirt. It got inside my helmet, it got in my eyes. I don't have a helmet blower, so that don't help either, but it's crazy. Like the dust was one thing, but the amount of dirt that was being thrown was just really fine dirt thrown up in our face, and it was difficult to see, and it's pretty bad. But we won't watch this entire video, but I want to show everybody like what this kind of shit looks like. And before we get started too far, let me post that link in the Discord for those guys because they wanted to watch. Copy Discord. Boom. Alright. So now we'll watch the first few minutes of it, and there's a couple times where you could see how bad the dirt was. It's way worse inside the car in real life. Obviously, like the GoPro doesn't really capture it. It was so bad. But we'll go to the YouTube screen here. So we started 4th in the feature. This is Friday night. how dusty it is, Trevor?
Yeah, it looks pretty bad.
I've driven some really dusty tracks, but this was like, it's just the dirt. It's almost like walking in sand, right? Like, that's how bad it was. It's like powdery in certain spots.
What brought out that caution?
I think that was behind me. I don't really remember. Like I said, I don't have any videos from the outside either, so. I'm up to third now. I started fourth, third. And like I said, there's a bunch of yellow flags, and people were running over top of each other, spinning out. People kept saying it was hard to see and shit, which I understand, but you gotta drive through it, man.
It looks pretty rough.
Yeah, Friday night was super rough. They did fix the track a little bit through Saturday. And there's another yellow flag. I mean, there's just a bunch of yellow flags, but right here I went around something that happened. I don't know, some car spun out or some shit. So now I think I'm back at fifth at this point. No, maybe I'm still third. I think I'm still third here. The guy that just passed me on the right side, that's the series champion. He gave me a U-bolt this weekend, actually. Rodney Morgan. Yeah, for my drive show. See right there how it's like, it's literally like, you could see it coming too. It's like just, the dirt was being thrown off the tires from the car in front of you, but it didn't really come directly towards you. It went straight, like stopped, and then you could see it, and you knew you were getting ready to drive through it.
Yeah.
Turn 1 was mostly just dusty. I don't know why it was so dusty there, but turn 3 you could see really well. Turn 4 is that wall of dirt every time when you're behind somebody. And there was another yellow flag here, but it's just, this kind of shit just kept happening, and then eventually it broke. So when we first got to the track Friday, we had to draw our starting position for our heat. And I wanted to start up front because just last week at Pencan I was confident with the car because the car was amazing. So Camber at Pencan, she drew all my chips throughout the night. So we got the Pencan the first night, well, like last week when we got the Pencan, Camber drew the number 2 chip, okay? And so we get to, well, after that, I finished in a redraw spot, and I didn't know that I had to redraw, because my radio wasn't working, and it was still set to the radio channel from the track that I was at prior, and apparently they run a different channel. I didn't know that, so I didn't hear shit. I didn't hear anything about, you know, top 4 redraw or anything like that, so I didn't redraw, and then I'm sitting in the pits Friday, and the series photographer comes up to me. Me and Camber were just sitting on the trailer, and he comes up to me and he's like, you know, when you finish a redraw spot, you gotta redraw. You know that, right? I was like, oh shit, I finished in a redraw spot, you know. So anyway, because I didn't go to the redraw, I got the very last chip that they gave, that was available. It was a number 2 chip, the same chip that Camber pulled, right? So that put me outside pole for the feature at Pencan. So anyway, we get to Skyline, and I had Camber draw my chip again, right? Now there's like 50 chips. I don't remember what number they went up to. The highest one I seen was 48 that somebody drew. So somebody put their hand in a bag and drew 48 right before me, and then I had Camber draw my chip. It was the number 2. Again, I'm like, this kid's fucking good, you know? So that put me P1 in the heat race Friday night. And then in the drivers meeting, they announced that the top 3 spots in both nights, the top 3 heat race finishers were gonna get money. So Kyle Baker Trucking put up $200. So first place was $100. Second place for the heat race was $60, and then third place was $40. And I definitely needed money, so I wanted to finish in the top 3 so I could get money. Usually we don't get money for heat races, so this is pretty cool. But so I started P1 in the heat race, and I finished third. The car was a little tight, but it was manageable, and I could manipulate it a little bit. Just the way I drove, I could drive a little bit differently. So I finished third in the heat race Friday night, and I got my $40. And then I had Camber draw again Friday night for the feature, because I finished in the redraw spot again in the heat. And she pulled the best chip possible, because like the top 2, I think, maybe it was like different brackets. They did like a different thing. It was different brackets. So like the bracket that I was in for third place, the best starting position that was there on the table by the time Camber drew was a number 7, and she picked the number 7. So again, good luck charm, you know. So I started 7th in featured. Maybe it was, no, that was the second night. So the first night she drew the number 4 actually. So I started 4th in the feature, and then got the 3rd, went back to 5th, and then slid back to 7th, and I started coming back up through, and then my fucking pull bar bent. Exactly like it did at Pencan. I showed you pictures of the last one, right? The same exact thing. And it pulled my drive shaft out.
Is that the same bar, or did you get a new
It's the
bar?
same pull bar, but I replaced the thread of the piece that actually bent. I replaced that. I called CRS, told them what biscuit bar I had, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we got that, $25." So they shipped it out to me, and I replaced that. I used the same pull bar, but new threaded the tube, so it was fixed, right? But it was a biscuit bar. And when I went to the track, when I went to Skyline, I took my spare pull bar, which was a spring type, and so I changed the U-joints and all that shit before I went to track Friday, and the drive shaft was okay. I had to get a new drive shaft yoke as well, slip yoke that goes in the transmission, because the spline's twisted. So I had to change the slip yoke, and I had to change the U-joints because it fell out the car, like it always does when it fucking bends the pull bar. So anyway, same thing happened Friday night in the feature, so I didn't finish. I was 7th when it happened. And then there's a guy, we're all in like a driver's chat on Facebook, on Messenger, and there was a guy Friday night, his name is Brandon Smith, he drives a 99 car. He's like, "Hey, I gotta go to CRS in the morning," which is Close Racing Supply, and that's like a 3-hour drive from the track, but he needed parts. So he let us know that he was going in the morning, so that way if anybody else needed parts, like we could call him Saturday morning and say, "Hey, I need this, this, and that. Brandon Smith is coming there. Just send the shit back to him," and they would just charge my account or whatever. So that's what a bunch of us did, because a bunch of us needed parts. And so anyway, Saturday morning, me and Camber woke up. We went up top to hang out with everybody and have breakfast and coffee, which was very important, obviously. And then we kind of just hung out, and I took the pull bar off and all this shit and got it ready for when Brandon got back to track, because I needed a drive shaft, because the drive shaft was fucked. I couldn't reuse it again, like it was fucked. And I needed a new yoke, because the yoke was fucked up again. So Close Racing Supply assembled the whole thing for me, so that way all I had to do was throw it in the car. But I forgot to order U-bolts, and by the time I remembered, Brandon was already gone. So I was looking through all my shit. I had one good U-bolt, and then Rodney Morgan had one, so that was fine. I got the car together. So I put the other spring type pull bar in the car, and not the biscuit bar, because I was finally done with that thing, right? Like, I gotta change. I gotta try and do something different. The pull bar needs to be different, you know. So anyway, I added a pull bar shock on top too to help with the dampening, because it was coming out that was bending on it when I let off going in the corners. And then when it would let the pinion lay over too far, and it would just pull the drive shaft out. And from there, it's only connected to the rear and just slapping around. So I got the car together, and I wasn't gonna do my heat race, honestly, because I was like, I needed money, and I needed to guarantee myself a start in the future. Because I just spent $300-400 on this drive shaft that I didn't have really. So I almost didn't do the heat race, and then I had Camber draw for me again, and she drew like 48 or something like that, and I was like, okay, that's kind of a good thing, because I wanted to not do it, and I was like, now I'm definitely not going to do the heat race because I'm starting last, right? But then, after the drivers' meeting, they posted the starting positions for the heats, and the guy that I bought my car off of, Rich McNeil, my dad worked for him, and they were at the track. They parked next to us and stuff like that. We're all good buddies. He was in my heat race, and I wanted to use his car and my car together on the same track in a smaller form with only 7 cars as like a tool. I wanted to see where I stacked up against him with my 2017 Harris that I bought off of him versus his driving and his 2021 car. So he had a 2019 the night before. He actually took the car home Saturday morning and brought back a 2021 Harris, right? So he's got this 2021 Harris, and I wanted to kind of use him and his car as a tool to see where I stacked up against him as far as Harris versus Harris, right?
Yeah.
And so I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna do the heat race. So I started 7th, which was last. He started 6th, and let's watch it real quick, actually. So he's in the blue 68, right in front of me on the outside. Now there's going to be a wreck here. In 3 and 4. Me and Rich go around it.
Hey,
This guy behind us kind of locked him up. So now the restart.
you want to put it on the screen, AJ?
Oh fuck, my bad. Good call. Good call. We'll have to watch that again. Sorry.
Yeah, we will.
Shit. Alright, blue 68 is Rich McNeil.
We know which one you're in.
Yeah. Coconut, yeah. If I can turn this down slightly. So me and Rich got around the wreck there. So that put us 3rd and 4th. He's 3rd on 4th. So I'm on the outside. I just get on. I didn't know.
No, looks like he got tight.
Yeah, I drive a lot different than he does. He kind of eases it in, and
He looks like either a softer driver or somebody that likes the car tight.
Yep. I just kind of throw it in there, man. Like, you can see how far back he is now, right? And then the guy in 2nd, that's Mitch's brother, Jake, the series director. He's really tight. He's really tight, but I couldn't pass him because he had so much fucking forward drive off the corners. Watch this shit. I'm next to him, right? Watch him just drive, and he's got a crate motor. Watch this shit.
Good.
I can't.
You can't compete with that.
No.
Ford right out of the corner.
Right.
Everything.
Yep. So even though he was really tight in the corners and shit, I was faster than him in the corners. I could not get around him because anytime I had position on him going, you know, coming off the corner, he'd just kill me down the straightaway. I thought Rich was behind me this entire time, right? So I'm trying to like race for like hell to stay ahead of Rich because, you know, it's important to me to beat him. It means a lot to me to beat Rich.
So, you know how we're live on YouTube right now, right?
Yeah.
Tyler just said, drop the right rear spring and letter E.
Drop the left rear spring, he said.
Right rear. He corrected himself.
Oh, right, okay, yeah. Yeah, so I got a 200-pound right rear spring, and I did have a 225, but before Penn-Can, I went to a 200 on the right rear. I think I got too much spring load, actually. So at Penn-Can, that's what I did. I took 2 rounds out of the right rear, and it helped me out a little bit in the feature last week. Right here, so I'm going to back this up right here, because this is kind of important. So, what caused my accident, my feature, this night, or Saturday night, a guy, like, you're watching Jake every corner, he's tight, so he, like, stabs the brake to kind of try to set the car and get the car to turn. That's perfect.
Yeah.
That's what you're supposed to do, obviously. You don't want to just keep going straight. But as a driver behind him, you got to be aware of that kind of shit. And the guy behind him in this race was me, and I was aware of it, and I hit the brakes a little harder than I wanted to, but I had to hit the brakes hard enough in order to stay off him, because I almost hit him. And then, so I got really loose, I got really sideways. Watch it right here, let me back it up again. He got tight, he had to like stab the brakes, so like he's, you know, slowing down rapidly. So I had to hit the brakes to keep off of him. And the feature, the same exact thing from what I heard happened ahead of me, and that's what caused the big ass wreck, the pile up that I was in. But anyway, it was fun racing Jake. It's a white flag lap here. I'm in third, so I'm in the money, you know, 40 bucks coming my way if I just hang on to this shit. And like I said, I thought Rich was behind me the whole time. But I didn't realize he fell back. He fell back to what, 5th? Yeah.
6.
6.
6.
Yeah, so I felt really good about the feature because I was a little tight, a little snug. And usually that means you're going to be great for the feature, but the track like never slipped off. It remained like it had a lot of bite in it. It just stayed like that. So that was cool. But and then the feature, I started 7th. I think. Pretty sure 7th. Thanks to Camber, because she drew that 7th. So on the start here,
That looked like a crap start.
So the 17 car right behind me now. This guy, all he cares about is beating the guy next to me because that's the fastest car, right? This guy comes from a long way to race with us. His name is Rich Michaels. And this 23 car right in front of me, I heard he had an old truck motor, and that's why he struggled on these restarts. But so he couldn't get going. Once he was going, he was fine because you don't need power. But for whatever reason, he struggled to get going, and I didn't pull out a line and pass him because all weekend they've been talking in these drivers meetings about being patient, being smart, can't win the race on lap 1, so I'm not going to try to go 3 wide immediately going in turn 1, right? The guys behind me, they didn't
Thought
give a
differently?
shit. Yeah, so Rich Michaels has an opportunity to go not just past me, but past, he's on the inside of the car like that was in front of me, the row in front of me, so they're 3 wide. It's going to shove up the guy on the very outside up into the fluffy shit, so that he's going to migrate back to the outside of my row. Plus, there's a guy, 2 guys behind me on the inside that are going to try and stuff it in next to me on the inside. The amount of times that people are like running the infield on a straightaway going into turn 1 blew my mind this weekend. Like, what do you think's gonna happen? You get to the corner and now you don't have a good arc at all, right? So you're either gonna push up in the front of somebody, or just not good shit's gonna happen. I kept getting fucked on these restarts. So it put me in the middle. Not just 3 wide, but 4 wide. 2 goddamn cars were trying to come below me. I was on the bottom lane on this restart. And so, like, the bottom line was my line, but people were just impatient and shit, so it put us 4 wide. And then because of that, there's you can't see him, but the 7B car gets into, I didn't expect anybody to be below me. And then the guy below me, Brad Delamater, he didn't expect anybody to be even below him, right? But there was, and there was, so I'm getting ping-ponged around like crazy. And the 7B spins out because of it. Because, like, this is not enough room. We all can't, there's 3 cars trying to run the bottom line. Obviously, it's not going to work. So, no laps are completed, so original goes back to original start position. And the 17 does the same shit. But he's not really doing anything wrong. He's just putting other people in a bad spot when we get to turn 1.
Yeah.
He's actually like a good driver. He doesn't like push up in front of people. Now I crowded him down a little bit because I was like, okay, motherfucker, this is the 2nd time. And because of that, it caused me to be 3 wide again, and this 2 car and me got fucking hung up. And like kept putting me in bad spots. So now I'm 7th again because no laps are completed. Now I'm really gonna try and crowd this guy down there. I tried.
I'm not gonna say, you know, he jumped the start, but he jumped the start.
Yeah, I mean,
he was on the throttle before anybody else.
Right. Like on iRacing, you can't do that, right? But IRL dirt racing, like with our League of Outlaws rules, you can pass below the line, but he might have jumped the start, I don't know. Like I said, he has to get going fast because there's 1 car he's got to beat, and that's Rodney Morgan. So he needs to go, and I understand that, but just kind of riding, you know, like the night before my car started coming on after I got some laps under it, and everybody kind of just started coming to me. Right there, I kind of overdrove the corner, right rear didn't stick. I got a little high, so the 83 car got underneath me. I think right here, I do it even worse in the 3 and 4. Yeah, really bad, really bad. Car was good again. It was still a little snug. Usually you have to tighten the car up for the feature, you know, but like the track didn't really change. It didn't slick off or nothing. Like the amount of bite in this track was crazy.
How many cars other than you have underglow light on the cars?
Have a what?
Have the underglow light on it?
So that was an accident.
How many other cars?
I don't know, but I use it for like work lights, cause
yeah, working on it. Yeah,
or
we had them on our. When I worked on micros, we put underglow lights on there to work on them because we didn't have one of those nice trailers with outside lights.
Right. No,
so we just kind of threw some lights in there, like under the hood, under the tail tank.
I want to put some under the hood yet too. They're amazing. Like even when I'm out in the garage, it's, instead of getting drop light or something like that, just turn them lights on. You can see.
Flip the light switch on, yeah.
So in the heat race from Pencan, I had them on an accident, but that was because I was using them and I just forgot to shut them off. This race, I must have accidentally bumped a switch. I need to move that switch or something because that was a complete accident. I don't know why that happened, but yeah.
Hey, it looks cool on the track. That's all that matters.
I can't.
Is there a rule against it?
I don't know. I don't think so, but I'm surprised they didn't tell me to shut them off, like on the radio or something. I didn't even know they were on. Like, I can't tell.
Did you get your radio switched over to the right channel?
Yeah. So Friday night, that was actually, Friday night my dad switched it over because the track that I ran last week, where I wasn't on the right channel, for some reason that track has like their own frequency. All the other tracks we go to are all the same. So
they're all default 454.
Yeah, but this one was like 454, 1000 is like the normal one, but then this other one was like, I don't remember it was just like one number difference. I don't know why. Like, what's the point?
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Unless there's a track right across the road, that would make the only sense.
Yeah, there wasn't though. There wasn't no tracks even really that close by, so I don't understand. Well, I guess 5 Mile Point used to be right up the road, but they shut down. But maybe that's just what Pencan always did. I don't know.
Maybe.
But yeah, it was an accident though for sure that night. Both nights or both weeks, I should say. But it should help people fucking see me in the dusty ass track though.
Yeah.
Probably help. Obviously don't help me. Yeah, here's that wreck. So I'll back it up a little bit. I didn't know what happened at first because I couldn't see what actually happened at this point. They were pretty far ahead of me. Right here's the two cars that get together. What I heard was Sean Bruce was in a 7 car. He kind of got tight. He stabbed the brakes to try to set the car, and the guy behind him hit him, and they both spun. And then everybody behind them, between me and them, locked up the brakes. And with the amount of brake bias we have cranked into these things, when you panic and lock up the brakes, you just spin out. So by the time I got there, there was like 4 or 5 cars sitting sideways on the track, right? You can't miss that, especially if you haven't got enough time.
Yeah.
I tried, and I wasn't about to stab my fucking brakes and spin out because I didn't want someone to clobber me in the fucking driver door. So I hit the brakes, but not hard enough for me to spin out, and I was trying to go right as far as I possibly could, and I couldn't get far enough to the right. I don't even know who I hit, but I hit 2 cars. It was a hard hit. But the second I made contact, I seen steam come out my radiator, so I knew my radiator was fucked at the very least. And yeah, I was so pissed off.
Yeah, but it was barely saw you hit.
Yeah, it doesn't look horrible because I did slow down quite a bit before I hit him.
But it wasn't enough to not do anything.
Yeah, I went underneath a car too. That was another thing. I actually went underneath a car. So I'm gonna find some pictures here of. I'll probably have to go the other way quicker.
Careful, we don't want to see something with shut it.
Yeah, right.
There's camper.
Yeah, these are pictures from the drivers' meeting. Those meant a lot to me. That was the heat race.
Are there infield tractor tires at that track?
I don't know.
Go back to that one picture.
No,
because there is. That guy had to have just barely missed it.
Yeah, I can't remember. I don't think there might not be actually. It's kind of weird. So I went underneath them. See my air cleaner, bud?
Yeah, it's not supposed to be like that.
No, that's bad.
Did it just get your air cleaner, or did it knock your carb off?
The carb is fine, thank God. It bent the stud that goes up in the center to it, but other than that,
Oh,
it fucked the base of the carb cleaner up. Like, it's all bent and shit in the bottom one.
the carb cleaner, the air cleaner?
Air cleaner, yeah, that's what I meant. You know what I meant. But yeah, so I hit 2 guys, basically. I was trying to go through the middle of them because one car was sideways, like down low, one guy was sideways up high. So I kind of hit one guy in his left front and one guy in his left rear. I almost fucking made it. Like another few feet, I might have been able to get right through there. But so I tried doing the right thing. They eventually they didn't spread out far enough by the time I got there. My door bar is all fucked, bro. It's like, it looks like I rolled the thing.
Pretty close.
It's fucking horrible. But the left front spindle and lower A-frame are completely fucking bent. So my toe out is probably like a good 5 or 6 inches.
Jesus.
It's bad. The frame looks okay.
Have you fixed it yet?
No, I'm done for the year now after this.
Hey, you still gotta pull it apart.
I know. I've been kind of like slacking on life, and I've been slacking on household stuff and shit. So like I haven't.
Yeah, I've been at work so much. This house is a wreck. This poor dog down next to me has seen me for like 3 hours out of the day awake.
Yeah. I pulled the body off. And I pulled the air cleaner off. I pulled the radiator out. The top of the radiator is gone. Like where the radiator cap goes, that thing was sheared right off.
Yeah.
Like I said, I went right underneath the one guy. So yeah, car's pretty bad.
I mean, from here, without you explaining what's wrong, other than your right front, it just looks like body damage.
Yeah.
That doesn't.
My left
whatever that was, it did not look like it was supposed to be like that.
That's the J bar from the night before, or the pull bar. That
bent it that much.
Yep. So this is the radius rod. That's actually fine. It's the piece that goes up inside the middle of the biscuit that bent. So I probably have a picture of my spring type pull bar that I put on it. Maybe not. It might have been in a different spot. But anyway. So this is Pam. She took care of Camber while I was on the track. That's the announcer's wife, the series announcer's wife. She's a sweetheart. She babysat Camber a lot when I was on the track, and when I was working on the car, sometimes she'd take her. Camber loved her. Like, she wanted to go hang out with her.
Relationships when you're young at the racetrack, it's a big thing.
Yeah, it's really big. It's like one big giant family up there, man. Like,
yeah. That's the way it is down here.
The amount of people that were like cooking food and shit, like it was.
Unless you're the track, what they call the track favorite, nobody likes you at that point.
Yeah, right. Man, so bad. Yeah, the left front's really fucked. I don't think the frame's bad though. I think for the most part it's okay. I need to buy a new A-frame and a new spindle, and then hopefully, I don't know, maybe the tie rods are bent, maybe the tie rods themselves are fucking fucked up. I have no idea. I haven't ripped anything apart, but I know that I can't afford to fix it all. There was a race, the last series race is at Woodhall. It was supposed to be yesterday, but it got rained out. Now they're going to race this upcoming Friday, which I'm not going because I don't have money to get the parts or the time to get it done anyway. So
that's why I just stick to set racing.
Yeah,
a lot cheaper, $14, $15 a month. That's about it.
So the heat race Saturday night, I put my steering wheel on in the pits, obviously, and you can see like my car kind of goes to the right, all the way to the wall. I thought I was gonna hit the wall for a second. I didn't put it on straight, and I've never done that before. So before the feature, like that really fucked things up for me, because like it's supposed to be in a certain spot, and like my hands are in a certain spot. I can feel like I know where center is. Right? I got a piece of tape there in the middle, but I didn't know where center was. So now it's like cocked to the right, or maybe it was to the left, and I was turning it right. Yeah, I think it was clocked to the left, and I was turning it right to get the the wheel straight, and it was like I turned right because the steering wheel wasn't on straight. So in the feature, I checked it. Like I had Dad like, hey, are my wheels straight? And he had me kind of turn the wheel, and we got it somewhat straight. But for some reason, it was cocked again in the feature too, not as bad.
Do you have one of those hex or one of those spline?
I have
Quick
the spline.
connects.
The
The
spline.
spline?
Yeah.
Those
they're
can
hard,
be
man.
a pain in the ass to get straight.
It could almost be like one or two splines off, but
and it makes that big difference.
Yep. I literally was like, fuck, it was bad. Yeah, Tyler said the whole front suspension's probably done for. I'm definitely going through the entire thing, obviously. I'm going to replace the lower A-frame and the spindle first, put everything back together. I'm going to leave the right front. I'm going to check some measurements on the center link and see, because there's plenty of ways of just from measuring to see if shit's bad or not, or bent. But if everything measured out fine on the center link and stuff, then I'll just replace the lower control arm and the spindle, and then try to set my toe and all that, and check my measurements and everything. If everything's good, then I should be fine. But I'm changing everything, and all the front suspension is going to be changed anyway over the winter. So, it's not a huge deal that this happened. It's just I wanted to do the last race, but
you didn't want to have to put money into next year.
Yeah. Well, I was already going to replace all that shit because Harris has their own lower A-frames and their lower everything, like the shock mount, all this geometry and shit, the acronym and the bump steering, they got all this stuff perfectly. And I didn't really buy anything off of them. I bought just like a standard lower control arm, and I welded a shock mount on it, so it's not exactly where they want. They got jigs for all this stuff, so this winter I was going to replace all that and buy everything straight from Harris, so that way it was perfect. Yeah, so it was all going to replace anyway, I guess. I was going to spend the same amount of money anyway. But
old James just said, drive to the chute, then set your steering wheel.
Drive to the chute.
Drive to lineup. From your pit.
Yeah, I probably should have done that.
Probably.
So, speaking of the lineup, the 600 cc's were before us.
Oh, the micros?
Yeah. So the track Saturday night, they started doing some weird shit because like the pits was like really congested. And for the heat races, they wanted all the heat races. If there's 3 heats for IMCAs, I was in heat 1, so I came out in the track. But then the other 2 heats came out as well, and they went to the infield, right?
Oh yeah.
So they were doing all this weird shit, but so they called us to the line early because we thought they were gonna have us go to the infield during the middle of the 600 cc race for the feature. They didn't do that. So anyway, we got out in the lineup early, and they just were listening on our radios and shit, just caution after caution after caution. And I'm drinking water like crazy, right, all day, all night, and I have my drink in my car with a hose and all that shit, right? Like this.
Yeah, we used to have those.
So I'm just sipping on water, and I'm like, I gotta pee, right? I really had to start peeing. And
don't tell me you NASCAR that son of a bitch.
No, I didn't. But I was gonna get out of the car right in the middle of the lineup and take a piss and then climb back in, but there's a lot of shit because you got your earphones, a lot of shit, and I was paranoid obviously about not getting back in.
Do you have a neck restraint, or do you just have the
I just have a
circle deal?
Just
neck brace?
Yeah. But it would have been a pain in the ass to get in, get out and get back in. So I was like, fuck it. But then there just kept more yellows and more yellows. I'm like, fuck, man. And I didn't know if I was gonna be able to concentrate with as bad as I had to pee, right? That's what I was afraid of. So when this wreck thing happened, again, I didn't know what the fuck the problem was, but I knew what they said in the driver's meeting all weekend about being patient and not acting like idiots and driving over top of each other and not their words, can't win the race on lap 1, right?
You know, people that one guy tried to win it on every lap.
Yep. So I felt like I was doing the right thing and just being patient and not being aggressive.
That's what sucks. Is sometimes you have somebody that wants to win it on the first lap in front of, or right behind you, or beside you, something. But you're trying to be patient, and here they come blaring it into the first lap corner.
Yeah,
Those are the guys that cause the wrecks most of the time.
I could have done the same thing that they did, right? I could have made it too wide, but like I'm not.
Yeah, you could have went. You could have went to the inside of that guy that struggles on the starts. Right. But you're nice. You're like,
I didn't want to.
It's not worth it.
I know the product that we've been putting on is bad.
Hey, it's also not cool to come from downtown, but who the fuck did it? Me.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
I came from more than downtown. I came from outer space.
Yeah. After I broke at Penn Can, the rest of that race was a shit show. There was a 6-car pileup in that one, and there was a bunch of shit. And the track gave the series shit for it, because all the fans, they don't want to see that shit, right? Like, they don't want to see yellow flags, and it's not even just yellow flags, it's red flags. They gotta get records out there and wait. Unhook us and pick this car up off this one and pull this one out from underneath. You know, nobody wants to sit there and watch all that shit.
No, they're there to watch the green flame laps.
Yep. And so after this wreck happened, all I knew was that we once again had a bunch of yellows and a big wreck, and I was pissed, really pissed. And the second I see my radiator spewing fucking steam out of it, I knew I was done. And I literally was never so mad in my life. I started punching. Did
you get out and go rip somebody's ass?
I unbuckled myself, and I didn't come completely out of the car initially because I still had my headphones connected to my radio, which was mounted behind my headrest. And but I immediately, like, as soon as everything stopped, I took the window net down and I got out as far as I could. And from my view, I'm sitting in the middle of this parking lot, right? Steam's coming out of my radiator. This guy's, the guy next to me, his slider was broken, the left rear. Eventually they put his left rear spring on his decking. There's just a bad thing, right? So I unbuckled, put the window net down, and I got out as far as I could, like out the windowsill, and I literally looked at everybody I could, and I fucking was like, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, y'all fucking suck, every fucking one of you. Like, this is fucking embarrassing. And none of these guys were like, I mean, they were involved in a wreck, but like, these guys weren't really the cause of it. They were just a victim like me. But I was just so pissed off that, like, that's how we're all driving.
Yeah.
They've been saying all this shit in the drivers' meetings, trying to avoid shit like this, and I was pissed. I definitely shouldn't have acted like that, but I was mad.
It's just one of those things, the heat of the moment, it'll get to you.
And then I got out of the car, finally, and then I walked around to the right front, and I seen the radiator, the top of the radiator was gone. And I got so mad, I kicked the car. But remember how I was saying I had to pee really bad, right? So, you can't...
Please tell me
you're not going to be able to see on this because...
piss on your car.
You're not going to be able to see it, I don't think. But, all the wreckers and shit came out, and they were, like, parked right over here, right? And there was this, like, pickup truck, but it was like a fire truck. And, it was parked right here, facing this way. And, I got out of the car, and I walked over to the fucking thing. I opened up the passenger door of that thing, and I just pissed right there. And then
dude had to go.
They were hooking my car up at that point, and they started dragging me off. I had to hurry up and pinch it off and fucking run back to my car so I could steer it. But yeah,
I would have took my time. I would have took my time to be like, y'all can wait for me.
Yeah.
I gotta pee.
But no, the car was good. The car was fast. That heat race video, I love that heat race video. That was my favorite.
Speaking of times when we were mad, remember when I just let go of the steering wheel in one of those league races right after the checkered flag?
I remember. We all have our moments, man. We all have
I
our moments.
was pissed that I got, because I was just trying to hold on to second.
Yep. I don't know.
Came across the line and I ended up third. That's fucking let go. I didn't care what happened.
Nope.
Didn't care the repercussions at the time. I was just mad.
That's what I mean. Like, in the heat of the moment,
You don't get shit about consequences.
Yep. I made.
And then you look at it later and you're like, that was fucking stupid.
It got stupider though, cause I got on Facebook that night and ran my mouth a bit, and I pissed some guys off.
Hey, making people happy ain't cheap, but pissing people off is free. I like free shit.
It's true. I got on Facebook and I didn't call anybody out directly. I just I feel like half the field's a good driver, right? Half the field they're good mentally and physically, right? And they're good. But after I made the post, I was talking about like how basically everybody's racing IMCAs just because anymore, and at the end of it, I said go back to fucking soft tire. This is embarrassing or some shit. A bunch of people messaged me and they're like, hey, you talk about me, you talk about me, you talk about me. And eventually, like, through the comments, I finally, like, was talking about who I was talking about. But it was definitely not a smart thing for me to do. I look like an asshole. I pissed a bunch of people off. But there's a lot of new guys in this series, too. But some of them have come from a soft tire car, and they're getting in these with the hard tire, and they're just spinning out all the time, or whatever's happening. I don't know. Some of the guys went from like the big block modifieds, so they go from like a tire that's like really wide and soft, and they're going to a small 8-inch tire that's really hard, and they're just overdriving and spinning out. And one guy messaged me, I think it was Brad Chilson, and I talked to him about it, but like he does the right thing. Like he spins out on occasion. He's trying to figure it out. Like everybody, I made my first start at some point, right? I was 16. Like
Yeah, everybody starts somewhere.
Yeah, like you go through growing pains and stuff, but the thing with guys like Brad Chilson is he's not racing for 6th place, knowing that he's not ready to do that kind of shit yet. So when he spins out, it's a single car wreck. And he's by himself. He starts scratch every night, and he's gonna keep doing that until he gets more confident, more comfortable in the car. Some of these guys, there's some good drivers that this is their first year, and they can physically drive, but they're not making the very best mental decisions.
They can drive. They just can't drive good around people.
Yeah, or they throw it in like they throw it in too hard. That's the biggest thing. You have a big block modified or something like that, and you're used to being able to throw it in the corner and having all its grip when you get there. You throw it in there and you ain't got it. And now you're like pushing up and hitting somebody and spinning out or whatever. It's just, but the reason why everybody's coming though is there's so much incentive to doing this. Like my suit. You know my suit. I showed you my suit, right? My fancy fuck. That's like a $1,300 suit. Last year I got it was a random thing, like, because every lap was sponsored, and I happened to win 50% off of the Velocita suit. And then I went to the Syracuse Expo where they're having a deal on top of that, so I got a $1,300 suit for like $400, right? Because
you can't complain right there.
So and then this past weekend, see if I can find them here. Spalding Performance, $50 off for, it says something about a shock. $50 shock brochure. So it says the certificate is valid for a $50 value of a standard shock rebuild, including oil and seals. It may also be used as credit towards a shock repair or shock revalving. So like $50 I save right there if I go to Spalding Performance. And then Velocita, right? Another Velocita thing. Free pair of fucking gloves. One of the guys, JJ Corsi, he races. He's an awesome guy. His wife has like a Velocita store wherever they live at, and it's literally one free pair of gloves, and it's a $169 value. They'll she's gonna custom tailor them to my suit, like match the colors up and everything, and it's Velocita, so it matches my suit there. But, like, you get shit like this every week. The heat races, I got money from the heat races, right? Like, you get so much shit back for this series, you know. You don't just, most classes just show up in a feature and then.
Which we got that stuff over here in Kansas. I don't really get that kind of shit.
Yeah.
We get
shit like that?
No.
Oh yeah, well, that's what I mean. That's what
we don't.
You get all these people that see this and like, well, fuck. Why wouldn't I go from mini stocks to IMCA modifieds? Why would I keep spending $30,000 in the street stock when I could do this?
Over here in the IMCA stuff, over here with IMCA stuff, they don't even get that. Over here in Kansas.
It's a series thing. So that's Jake Mitch's brother. He's the one that sets all that shit up. He's got people that want to help out with this kind of shit. But IMCA itself, at the end of the year, you get a lot of shit back. You finish in the top 10 points, you get free shit. You look at the year, there's all kinds. You get so much shit back at the end of the year. You're rewarded for it. You get free shocks, free springs. Like, there's all kinds of rewards. Like, if you use 4 AFCO racing shocks and you're the first in the state or the region or whatever with 4 AFCO racing shocks, you'll get like some kind of AFCO racing shock thing. Like, there's so many sponsors that IMCA has, it's insane. So you get all these guys that see all that and like, why wouldn't they come? But they come and then they get in this hard tire, small tire shit, and then they struggle and they make mistakes. But hopefully they get better. We got a lot of rookies in this shit. But it's not just a physical thing, it's a mental thing too. Like, they gotta mentally, like, they gotta make better decisions.
Don't wanna stop this sooner. But my phone, which my camera is running off of, is at 2%.
That's fine, because I gotta get to bed.
And my headset's been yelling at me since we started this, battery low. I forgot to plug it in the last couple nights.
Alright, yeah. So Tyler and James and everybody, like, I'm sure you guys have seen the League of Outlaws Super Nationals post I made. December 8th, that's what we're shooting for.
It's gonna. AJ will be busy up until somewhere with life. I will be busy at work until middle of November. Like right now, I'm not getting off till I go to work at 8 a.m. Don't get off till like 7, 8, 9 p.m.
Yep.
I was lucky getting off early today and stuff.
So I'll start making conversations and see if we get some big sponsors like we did for the Spring Nationals. But I want to start doing some league racing here in the next month probably. Now that my life is kind of calming down with the real life racing shit, so I can't wait to get back into it.
My life is getting pretty busy with work, and I'll be busy for a little while.
Yeah, I kind of want to do mini stock series too.
Oh,
I love those. Have you tried them yet?
Yeah, we raced in the official game.
Oh yeah, that's right. Oh man, I wanna.
I'm not gonna say I don't like them, but I don't like them at the same time. Yeah, let's not do linear again this time.
Linear. I think we're gonna do Cedar.
Linear. Oh please no.
No, for the Super Nationals.
God no.
You don't
God no.
Come
I
on.
fucking hate Cedar.
What track would you do?
I have never done good at Cedar, and you know that.
What track would you do?
I have never done good there. Lernerville. I love that one. Lernerville.
For the Super Nationals though?
For the Super Nationals.
We'll have to do a poll. We'll do a poll. What was it?
Yeah. Oh, hold on, James. Wish you could just join in here and talk.
He hasn't had any power in 3 days.
In 3 days due to the hurricane.
Yeah, my grandma.
Hopefully everything is good down there.
My grandma lives in Hickory, and she got pretty lucky. They lost internet, but
Charlotte. Sorry, but Charlotte would be really good. That's a nice wide track. But we want it tight racing at the same time. We don't want something like Charlotte where it's all wide. But I gotta get off here. My phone's at 1%. We're gonna lose me soon. So
thanks for doing this shit though.
Yeah, we'll have to do it more often.
Yeah, James and all you guys, I'll be back on Discord in the next couple weeks. So I miss you guys.
Me too.
Well, thank you, Trevor, for doing this with me. It was fun.
Yeah, thanks for inviting me. It was fun. That's for sure.
All right, guys. See y'all later. Thanks for watching.